Welcome back to Would John Rather, except it's not. More scheduling conflicts, unfortunately, so we thought we'd do a pilot episode of what we discussed all the way back in, I think, episode 12 of brothers bathing, having a bath, wherever you're from, however you pronounce it. Nathan's back. It's just the two of us. We've not recorded anything, just two people before, so I'm not sure how well it will flow. I am sat
Was
in
that
my...
a bathing fun?
Oh, nice. I didn't even realise. But no, I'm sat in my bath. Nathan sat in his bath. Nathan sat in his bath because he's got children, so he's locked the door. I'm sat in my bath because I don't have children and can do whatever I want.
We are currently recording this at 9 a.m.
9 a.m?
9 a.m, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, it's winter. That's why it's still dark outside. I don't.
Yeah.
Why would it matter what time we're recording it?
Well, actually, I don't know. I was just thinking of a weird time for you to just get up and have a random bath. And there's not really a weird time to have a bath, is there?
No, I mean,
There's weird places.
every single time in my current job that I've ended up staying over because we've had like a staff do or we've had a night out or something, without exception, I get back to the room and go, I'm going to have a bath. I don't know why. I do it every single time.
I think that's just a hotel thing, because I stayed away for work for a training course and drove back to the hotel and I go, what do I do now? I'm going to have a bath.
But I've got a bath at home.
Same. Never use it. Always have a shower.
Yeah. And it's not like the baths are like, it's not like it's a big hot tub bath or anything like that. It's just a standard bathtub.
I actually think the one I was using last time was smaller.
No, that was the sink.
Ah.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
It does. It does. And that shower that was a bit too low for you was a bidet. So anyway, yeah, the premise that we initially discussed all that time ago, God, nearly 2 years ago now, with Brothers Bathing was that we would be in a bath together and discuss politics. Now, we're not in the bath together, we're in separate baths. Why can I not pronounce this word today?
You can't really pronounce anything today.
And also, based on things that have happened in the past 2 years since we initially came up with this concept, I don't want to discuss politics with anyone anymore, ever again. I'm so bored of it. What will be, will be. And I'm sure you agree, don't you, Nath?
Yeah, no, we're not going. I mean, normally we find it quite hard to not alienate people and, upset some sort of group or another. So I think it's best we just steer completely clear of politics.
Yeah.
Because, otherwise, I think we'll offend everyone.
Definitely. And the fact that we're in the bath, we're feeling all relaxed and we might get too relaxed and say something that we shouldn't have, especially in politics. That's a dangerous game. So, well, I don't know whether this will be a one-off or we'll record more or what will happen. It's just so we don't have zero content to put out for you this week. But
it's going to be really bad, though, if it ends up being a coup and you just bin off both Johns.
Bin off the Johns and we just changed the logo and this is it moving. And it'd be like you were the plague of our podcast because you've slowly appeared more and more to the point that now neither Johns are here and you are. But I thought we had a few discussions about things we could discuss and ideas that have been floating around my head. So I thought a good premise to start with because there's no particular thing we'll talk about. But in the past, I've had some for years, some recently, some very recently, business ideas that aren't quite as normal as a normal business idea, of starting a normal startup, starting your own media business or starting your own restaurant or anything like that. So I thought I'd portray them to you, brother, Dragon's Den style, and, we'll just see what happens.
I'll stop you there. I'm out.
Oh, okay. Is that because it's my idea?
No, I just wanted to say it.
Fair enough. Shall I start with my most recent idea that I've had? And I think it already exists, but it's not well known enough.
Go for it then.
So, big thing at the moment is obviously single-use plastics, straws being the main culprit well, it was bags a few years ago. Now it's straws, even though you can still have plastic lids, but you're not allowed plastic straws. I don't get it. But anyway, so straws are the things that are killing everything. Apparently, everything dies if it touches a straw. So we've replaced it with paper straws. I haven't had a McDonald's milkshake since the first time I had one with a paper straw. They're just not the same. To the point that
you have to wait like 10 minutes before you actually put the straw in it.
Yeah, and then you've got to drink the entire milkshake in about 4 minutes. And also just the feel of it on like my mouth and my teeth isn't right. I don't like the texture. I don't know if this makes sense to anyone, but when I'm drinking through a plastic straw, especially a cold drink, I'll like bite down on the straw a little bit just because
to stem the flow.
Yeah, to stem the flow. And it almost stops it being as cold. And I don't know why that works. Maybe it's because, yeah, like you said, there's less coming in my mouth. I couldn't stop myself. I shouldn't have phrased it like that. But anyway, so I was trying to think, what can we do? Because, you know, I've seen people that have got these fancy metal straws, and I was about to say ivory straws, but I'm sure that's even worse than single-use plastic.
Just a little bit.
But the
How
idea...
pissed would you be as well? You're like, I won't put the ivory straw in its case. It'll be all right in the bag. Get it out later on, and it just snaps.
Oh, well, then you'd have 2 straws.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to reach the bottom of your milkshake.
No, true. But yeah, so you see people like these metal straws, and some of them are really fancy that have got magnets that you just pull it out, and it's like, whoopah! Now I've got a straw. But the metal straws just don't quite do it for me either, because I don't want to carry a straw around. It's like Friends, you know, when Joey walks in on them with eating the cheesecake and just pulls a fork out of his pocket. Like, who carries cutlery around with them?
Yeah, you don't really need a straw unless you're going to a fast food place that provides straws. Because everywhere else you go, I'm just going to use this cup as a cup.
You use a straw when you're drinking out of something that is disposable. So you only ever seem to use a straw when you're drinking out of like a paper cup or a plastic cup.
I know, but you wouldn't go to like a water fountain at work and fill it up and go, oh, this cup really needs a straw. I'm glad I brought with me my big metal one.
Yeah, true. I mean, I did think when you started that you were going to say no one really needs a straw until they need a straw. But I mean, you would be correct. So anyway, on to my idea. As I said, I have found out these already exist, so this is more letting people know for the public, because I started to genuinely do some research into it, and they do exist. So we need something cheap to produce, disposable, that you can use as a straw. Pasta.
Some things it will work with. I'll let you have that.
Well, it generally doesn't taste of anything, pasta. At least not, like, if I dipped... I'll put it this way. I've tested it with some penne myself.
There's not many that you can use, like many pasta that you can use as a straw.
No, but I mean, you custom make... But it's basically just long penne pasta, isn't it? That's the right sort of size.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
For
that you would
milkshake,
use...
you can use the other one. What's the other one?
Bucatini?
No, I think it begins with a C. It's like really...
Cannelloni?
That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not suggesting that you're going to use spaghetti or a lasagna sheet. Like, obviously...
It's like you've got to put little spaces in the spaghetti, wrap an elastic band round it.
But, yeah, so it only goes soft when you heat it up. Doesn't really taste of anything. It's super cheap to produce. I mean, you can get a kilo of pasta for like 30p. So it works on all of the levels. Plus, new time for straws, cup of soup, get a nice tomato soup. It's going to cook the pasta slowly but surely. And when that part of the straw is cooked, nibble off the end, extra little bit of food, carry on. So it just adds to your meal. And then there's nothing to dispose of afterwards. I can't see any downside to it. And as I said, I have looked it up. There are actually companies that are doing this. They're not cheap, and I don't understand why it's like £4 for 5 pasta straws. But
what?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you go on, let's have a little Google so I can name the There's a couple of them. Pasta.
Well, don't name the company just in case.
Oh yeah. 1 hour durability and flavourless. Where's the...
That description sounds like you're describing something else.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I wasn't the first person to have this idea, clearly, because people were already doing it. So for one of the companies that I found, 5,000 pasta straws cost $324.90. So
what does that equate to pence per straw?
In pounds, that's about 50 pence per straw.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's there's no way that it's that expensive.
No. See, the other benefit I can see...
English price. I won't say the company name once again, but actually, no, I will, because I do think it's an amazing idea, and it's free advertising for them. The English company is called Strudels. Strudels taster, 12 straws, £3.49. 25 strudels, £4.99. 100 strudel straws, £12.99.
It's not so bad, is it?
I mean, 100 straws for 12, that's 13p a straw, is it? So that's not too bad.
It's clever marketing, because as soon as you give it a purpose, rather than it just being pasta, which is ridiculously cheap, you've reinvented what it's for.
Yeah.
So I get the markup for that.
I was going to suggest it to my work, because we're meant to be, we are an Italian-themed restaurant, and I thought that it would be really clever, but for some reason I just don't see them going for it, because it's just increasing overheads when, in actual fact, we've got paper straws, people use them if they haven't got any other choice. It's not really going to be like, oh, let's go to that place because they've got pasta straws instead of paper straws. So, because we're not on if it was a high street place, if you went to a row of bars and you're going out for a cocktail and you went, well, they've got paper straws, they've got pasta straws, and I prefer them, you'd go there. But because we haven't got any sort of direct competition of, it's a hotel, so people are there, and that's it. I don't think it's really going to change anything. But I genuinely think it's a fantastic idea. And I'm just sad that I didn't think of it. Well, I don't know when the company started, and I probably wouldn't have started a company because I have no idea how to make bulk pasta.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of need to know how to make the pasta first. There is another point I think is quite good with having the pasta straws, because with it being disposable, people obviously dispose of it. Most of the time, it just gets chucked.
Yeah.
Or ends up in landfill. So, if it's pasta, I'm pretty sure all the animals can eat it without any health risk. You might have to correct me if I'm wrong.
It's 100% biodegradable, even if the animals don't eat it. And imagine if you had a house party, everyone uses these pasta straws, like an adult house party. I'm not talking about the ones we used to go to when we were 17, but an adult's house party, and you have, 20 friends over and you're all drinking cocktails, and then the next morning you clean up and you go around, pick them all back up, rinse them off, and then they're clean. That's dinner sorted tonight.
Yeah, well, it's either that or, there's always that one person at the house party that drinks too much and needs a bit of food to sober them up.
Yeah?
Just give them, or it could go the other way, a bit like vodka jellies or vodka sweets, like vodka Haribos, where you just leave it to soak up the alcohol. Would that work with pasta? Can you boil pasta in vodka?
I'm not sure. We'd have to give it a go. Could you imagine if I had everyone round from a birthday for spaghetti and meatballs, and we all just got pissed off of spaghetti?
I really want to try it.
I feel like I'm going to have to do some research after this recording session.
I don't think that would work, though, would it?
No, because
I'm pretty sure the boiling point of alcohol is less than the boiling point of water,
and it would all just evaporate away. Yeah. But we could always mix the vodka with the sauce.
Ooh.
Or we could always just make lasagna, but add an extra layer that is just basically...
just vodka.
Well, no, not just vodka. Like you said with the vodka jelly, but instead of making flavoured vodka jelly, you just get gelatine so it's completely flavourless, you're not really going to notice that texture in there, especially if you did it like with the bechamel layer, because that cheesy kind of texture where it's that sauce, and you'd never notice it.
It'd be like vodka custard, the bechamel sauce, wouldn't it?
Yeah, except it wouldn't taste like custard, it'd taste like cheese.
Well, yeah, but you could put the vodka into that rather than gelatin, because the thought of gelatin in lasagna actually makes me feel a bit sick.
Yeah, true, but we're anyway, we're getting off topic now. We're just talking about boozy food. But so, okay, Dragon's Den, you've got the money in your pocket. Pasta straws, do you think it could be the future of beverage drinking?
Beverage is debatable. But yeah, definitely I think there is a place for it.
Italy.
I probably wouldn't invest in it, but if it was an option when I went out, I would definitely use some.
I mean, that's a contradiction in terms. You're saying that if you went out, you would use it, so therefore you just think that you're not like anyone else.
No, I endorse it. I don't think there's business-wise a profit in it.
I just think you think of all the different Italian restaurant chains, even if you only got them in there. You think, you got Pizza Express, Ask Italian, Jamie's Italian, or didn't Jamie's Italian go bust recently? Maybe I read, I don't know. But there's so many Italian chains out there. Like, it would be just that extra level of theming. Every single pizzeria. It's quite difficult to forget that pizza is Italian when you think of Domino's and Pizza Hut and you don't think Italy.
Yeah, true. But I don't think actual Italian pizza is anywhere near the same as a Domino's.
No, true.
They're not doing cheeseburger flavour Italian pizza, are they?
I don't know. I've not been to Italy.
Neither have I, but I'm going to put it out there that they don't.
Fair enough. Okay, so Nathan rules that pasta straws are a bad idea. I still think it's a fantastic idea. And yeah.
No, I endorse them. I'm just not sure about... Well, actually, no, I'm with you, because if there's already companies that you've named and researched that do it, it's got to work, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, even if it's either with something like that, it's a little side project. It can't be that expensive to run a website and to produce. So even if you just sold some and made like an extra little bit of money a month, then it's a good little hobby. And yeah, if you got to the point that it was a full-time job and you had to employ people, then it's win-win, surely.
Yeah, I say if you're making it and it gets to the point where it's going to go past its sell-by date or whatever, you just chop them up, sell them as normal pasta.
Sell it as pasta, yeah.
So your profit margins are the same, except, I don't know, however much it costs to chop the pasta down one more time.
Yeah. And also, that's why penne is my favourite pasta, because it's got that such big hole in. The whole of the pasta gets coated in the sauce anyway, so...
I do like that, but it is horrible when you've got it really, really hot, and you're like, oh, this one's nice and cool. Then you bite in, and then the red-hot sauce just goes everywhere, like an explosion in your mouth. That's not very nice.
Well, I mean, that's the problem with you learning how to eat, not so much the pasta. Because lots of pasta will have that problems, like ravioli, cannelloni,
yeah, but
lasagna.
Ravioli's normally just got that weird cat food type meat inside it.
And also, here's one we didn't think about. The fact that you never really see curly straws anymore. Massive macaroni for the kids.
Yeah, that would work.
This is perfect. And they've done it before in different things, like, do you remember the, I'm sure it was Cocoa Pops did it or something, where it was like edible, like cereal straws that you drink the cereal milk up with and then eat it afterwards.
Yeah, it's like using a Twix or a Kit Kat.
I was going to say, yeah.
A cup of tea or hot chocolate, isn't it?
So it's just the next step of, I mean, we could call it wasting food, but I call it saving the planet. So, yeah. Oh, I think we're in agreement then. Big thumbs up for them. Check out Strudels. They've not paid us to promote them, and hopefully they won't make us pay them for talking about them either. I'm not quite sure how stuff like that works. Shall I tell you another idea?
Yeah, why not?
I got this one in work as well. Recently, over Christmas, we had a lot of tour groups in, you know, you get like the coach tours. There was the Channel 4 show, I think, about it, and it always seems to be generally the same group of people, and I understand why they go on it, but it's elderly couples or elderly people that get on this coach and then they go to some random town, stay in a hotel, they get quite a general like 3-course meal in the hotel or the restaurant because it's tour groups, they try and keep the prices down. So, and then they'll go and just like walk around a museum, but not even like a museum, but just like a manor house. One of the what are they called? You can sign up for them and go and visit all the different parks.
National Trust.
Yeah, they can just go to like a National Trust place, and that's the weekend for them. And I just look at them and I think, yeah, to some people that's interesting. I'm not denying that at all. But if I make it to that age where I'm retired and I need to go on these trips with a big bunch of strangers to have some fun, that's not going to be me. So I propose the company's called Fun APs, which is Fun Aged Pensioners. And it's like in a club 18 to 30s holiday, but it's like 60 plus. And it's just a bunch of pensioners. And we can go do anything. We can take them out to strip clubs and go out clubbing. We can go out on an all-day drinking cruise. We can go skydiving or bungee jumping. We can, go go-karting or, even just bowling or something like that. Like, I've met plenty of 90-year-olds that are still sprightly and still want to, go out dancing and all stuff like this. And why should it be a young person's game? And I think that maybe, okay, some of the super old generations wouldn't be up for it. But how many people do you know that are 60 plus that would just go, you know what, that sounds amazing?
Yeah. I do love the thought of like going on a day trip and Doris doing a bungee jump and then going back to the hotel, getting glammed up and going on a booze cruise or a pub crawl.
Yeah, could you imagine, like when you're in the big cities and you'll see the group walk past that are in their Carnage t-shirts that are at uni, or they're all dressed as golfers because they're playing pub golf. Could you imagine if a group of 70 or 80-year-olds walked past you all in their golf gear, 83-year-old...
They've just come from golf though.
Yeah, but not if 83-year-old Janet was throwing up in the gutter and,
If they're all dressed as Smurfs or...
Yeah, and you'll have that one guy in the group that's just working his way around all the women, seeing whose panties he can get into that night, and a group of other all running off to the bathroom together and giggling, and walking up to 18-year-olds and just taking their pint out their hand, having a sip and putting it back, because what's an 18-year-old going to do to an 80-year-old? I think that would be incredible. I'd want to go out with them, but I wouldn't be allowed because I'm not 60 and it is strictly 60 plus.
I think this is not so much a business venture, but the makings of a great TV show. Like
where the kids go on holiday and the parents spy on them, but it's the other way around, where your grandparents go on holiday.
You send your grandparents on the holiday, gets recorded, and then at the end of the holiday it gets reviewed by like the kids or the grandkids.
Or it could be like that Channel 4 one where they go on the coach trips and there's like 6 different couples and we do
swap them out.
Yeah, we do a new activity or a new weekend trip every week, and at the end of the weekend they all vote for who's been the most fun, and you can have the diary room in the Big Brother house where the couples will sit down and talk about the other people, and it's Gregson really didn't seem fun. He didn't want to join in with the bungee jump. After 2 drinks he said he'd had enough and went home early. His wife's absolutely glorious fun, but he's just a downer and I'm afraid it's going to be them for the drop.
Yeah.
I think that's a cracking idea.
Yeah, I'm down with that idea.
But do you not think, fair enough as a business idea, once again, I don't think your outgoings would be that much. It'd be like the Fire Fest. We put out an advert, and if we get enough elderly people that want to go out and get pissed up and go rock climbing or go ape or whatever like that, then we just book it and make some money and book a weekend off work and go and around.
I think as a business idea, in 20 years' time, it will be amazing. I think you need to move a generation up, and then that will take off completely.
I mean, we're not far off it. I think our parents' generation is the first generation that would actually be quite down with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Within 20 years, that generation step up into the age bracket you were saying.
Yeah, I get. So we just need to wait for basically the last of that generation to die out so we can start this business.
Yeah.
That's the less polite way of putting what you're saying. But
Yeah.
do you not even think of that generation now that are all, in retirement age? Do you not think there's a good hefty clump of those people that would be really up for it? Not as many as potentially in 20 years, no, but
Yeah. Maybe it's a good time to test the water.
the more I think about this idea, and I've been thinking about it for a long time now, the more excited I get because I can't see any way that it would fail. But I also don't know how you set up a tour operating group, and I also don't. I think from what I've seen of tour operating groups, especially ones I've met, like it's almost like people's own little business, and they're like retired and they've set it up themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure how it would work, but the more I think about it, the more I'm genuinely going to look into it because I just couldn't, for me, think of anything worse than when I meet these tour groups and see what they've been doing all day, and I'm just going, you can't be having fun. And maybe they are. I'm not here to say what isn't fun. And I appreciate a lot of people listening would be going out and getting pissed up and going on roller coasters all day. That's not my cup of tea. No, it's fine, but it is for some people. And if at the end of the day I make it to 80 and I then actually have a heart attack because I went out drinking, had 2 hours sleep, and then died on Nemesis Inferno, I don't think that's a bad way to go.
Do you have special insurance like vomit cover, that sort of thing? Because I'm thinking pensioners, drink, and roller coasters is a recipe for disaster.
But why
and
would
denture cover?
Yeah, but why would the insurance be any different for if you and I were to go?
I think the claim rate would be a lot higher.
But it wouldn't be down to I'm just arranging for them to go on these activities. You're saying
you're saying your policy would be the same as every public car park.
What's that?
Any damage or loss of property.
Yeah, totally.
Down to the individual, not the establishment.
Well, it would depend on the activities. So let's say just as a age, we've got. Let's just say we wanted to take a group of 80-year-olds out. Let's say there's 10 of them, and we just said to them, and it wasn't a business. We just said to them, we're going to take you for a day out, and we went to Alton Towers. Do you think we'd have to sign any paperwork as we were going in? No, it's just some 80-year-olds going to Alton Towers. If we went to the pub or to a nightclub, would we have to do any paperwork because we've taken them out to a pub or we've taken them to Download Festival? Any paperwork? No. Like, maybe things like, obviously at a theme park you must be this tall to ride, and bungee jumping and skydiving you have to fill in.
It's the opposite problem, isn't it? That no, you're now too old, you've gone back below the height limit.
Yeah, you've shrank.
Right.
They'll obviously, like bungee jumping and skydiving, there's going to be health questionnaires you have to fill in like anybody would. But to say that we'd have to have any sort of special insurance, I don't know how true that would be. I mean, I'm not an expert on insurance, but I don't see why it would be any different.
I got distracted by my own thoughts. I just had an image of a load of pensioners at a fun fair, and then I thought about the Dodgems just full of pensioners while all like hyped up. So the initial thought of pensioners on Dodgems is it just all going round really slowly, no one getting close to each other and no one hitting each other. But then when they're intoxicated, them just driving around properly letting loose.
Well, yeah, especially good old like Harold that had his license taken away 10 years ago. Like, I haven't driven in 10 years, and just smashing into Betty.
And there's going to be at least 6 of them going, I'll just reverse, slam the foot on the thing, and it's going forwards.
One of them looking for the indicator.
Yeah.
I think the only thing you'd probably need more than, not necessarily insurance, but you would probably need each of them to provide, like, in case of emergency, contact details. where they can like give their child or niece or neighbour's number just should something bad happen. But it's a cruel twist of fate that when you're young enough and you've got the energy, you don't have the money and the time, and then when you've got the money and the time, you haven't got the energy. But there's plenty of people out there who have got the energy. So let's imagine spend the last 10, 15 years of your life just vegetating. And I know that's what happens to plenty of people, and it's really sad. But we could even turn this into like a non-profit and make our money off the government and get it funded that way. And we just rock up to just different old people's homes and go, right, come on, you lot, we're going out caving.
We're going to the crane in the car park, and guess what you're doing?
Everyone get in the canoe. I mean, I wouldn't suggest sending them orienteering because you might lose them, but group activities is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, think about when you're that age. Does that sound like something you'd be up for?
Oh, definitely. To be fair, I'm up for it now.
Yeah.
I might have to just put like some extra wrinkles and things on.
I mean, fuck it. Should we just hire a coach and just go and rob an old people's home?
Yeah. You can sign old people out of them, can't you?
Yeah.
If we just take one from each old people's home that we come across until the coach is full.
And get our own cameras.
Yeah. And lawyers.
And lawyers, yes. Imagine just all of the hate mail, like people tweeting and writing to us was like, I haven't seen my granddad in 2 years. And we're just writing back, just going, he's having fun, leave him alone. And he's just in the background going, you haven't visited me in 5 years, fuck you, bitch.
A picture of him with a pasta straw. A pasta straw and a cocktail.
Yeah, in Ayia Napa. I might genuinely look into this. I don't know how it all works, but official copywritten idea right here on the 22nd of January 2020. This was my idea, the creator, one of the creators of Would John Rather. We'll have to, if anybody's interested in coming on one of these fun AP tours, or you've got someone in your family that would want to, get in touch via iTunes or send us an email. I think our email address is on our website. And let us know. We'll get this ball rolling.
Yes, ball rolling. We can send them down in Zorbs.
Oh, it was old people in Zorbs. Because they can't even get hurt then.
No.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this idea's certainly got legs. I don't see any way that it couldn't work.
No, it's yeah, I'm in.
And even like the only bits of I see of my side where they come in for, their meal, and everywhere that I've worked you get tour groups that come and stay, and they'll have, prawn cocktail or soup to start, and then they'll have some form of a roast dinner or fish and chips for dinner, and then fruit and ice cream for their dessert. And it's like, nah, fuck that. We're going to an all-you-can-eat buffet. Help yourselves, you picky bunch of gits.
Oh, I know feeding them would be like feeding toddlers, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's get your own food jobby.
Definitely.
Well, I say we wouldn't have to do the food and beverages, would we? Because it's book a hotel, stay in it. It's the hotel's problem.
Yeah, it is. But doesn't mean you have to eat in the hotel.
True, but if this is our plan, why are we making more effort for ourselves?
Because then, if it's a better overall experience, we can charge more. And these old people, this is why I'm thinking we don't wait 20 years, we do it now. These old people, they've got money because when they were buying houses, old houses cost like £14. So they've got the money. If we give it 20, 30 years, there won't be anybody who's retired with the time to do this stuff because everyone will be working until they're 90.
Fair point.
So we need to get on it. It's like that film, is it The Breakup with Vince Vaughn, where him and his brothers operate a tour company?
I'm not sure.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's Vince Vaughn's character, and like his two brothers operate like a bus touring company together. Well, offers are out there. John and John, when you actually listen to this, if you'd like to join me and my brother on this business venture, we'll let you in on the ground floor as you've let us use your platform to get the first advertising and brainstorming stage out there. If there's any investors out there, do let us know. We'll happily accept your investments. And like I said, if anyone wants to come on one of these tours, we'll get you on the short list and let you know dates moving forward.
Yep.
Well, I've got plenty of other business ideas, but I'm too excited about that one. So should we give that as a finishing point?
Yeah, I think we should pull the plug on this.
Very nice. We hadn't planned that, and I'm very impressed. So, well, like we said, it was kind of so we didn't leave you out any content for a week due to some scheduling issues that we've got at the moment. But if you've enjoyed us talking about random crap, which is no different to any week, except there's 100%, in fact 200% less Johns,
Yeah.
and 100% more not Johns, then let us know. We could, well, yeah, just let us know if you enjoyed it. iTunes, Twitter, email, send us some cash in the post.
I like the last idea best.
Yeah, used notes preferably. Unfortunately, we can't accept checks.
Yeah, and it's non-sequential bills, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And preferably not 50s, because you just can't use them anywhere anymore.
No.
Well, thanks. Well, there's no one to say that these have not been John. So, well, these have been John. So we've not been John. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Not see, but
Watching. Always watching.
John doesn't need something. We want somebody to it where everybody goes.